This year, the Cooperative Bank is making youth empowerment a priority. We are here to help Kenyan youth, whether in college, employment, business or agriculture, realize your dreams by providing the tools and knowledge you need to grow your incomes. This will be through youth forums, a series of free weekly online webinars on Zoom and other social media platforms. In our last 2 episodes, we've been talking about starting a business. Today, we continue with the 3rd installment of our 4-part series on this exciting topic. This week, we are pleased to have Eric Muleri, Head of Agri-Business and Donor Project, COP Consultancy, to show us how to develop a plan for your business idea. Karibuni.
Karibuni sana. Today we are talking about how to develop a plan for your business. As Sandra mentioned in the introduction, we started this journey with generating an idea, and we have done a number of discussions on that, and today we are moving from an idea to having a plan. And for those who did not tune in during those first 2 episodes, do not worry. We'll have a very high-level recap of what happened or what was discussed in those sessions. Then we move to today's main discussion. So just to remind each one of us, the first discussion was on how to generate a business idea. And we also moved from generating an idea and discussed how to test your idea and how to validate it in the market. Generating is meant just out of the many ideas that you have, sitting down and thinking through and finding out which one is viable. And then testing and validation helps us to decide in real life, in the market, find out if there are real customers who would be willing to pay for your product or service and how much they would be willing to pay. So those discussions helped us to understand the journey from an idea to testing in the market, and today we are moving beyond that to look at how to plan. And once we have planned, then the next item will be to go into business. Karibuni sana for the discussion. For those who are already in business, and for those who are thinking about business, tell us in the chat, is planning necessary? When you were thinking about going to business and when you actually went into business, did you sit down to plan? If you planned, tell us what the journey was like, what kind of plan you came up with, and what it required of you. If you did not plan, also share your experience in the chat. Someone can learn from it. Karibuni sana, tujadiliane na tusemezane so that we can all go into business and we can all thrive and grow. So why is it necessary to plan? Planning has very many uses, and it helps us to avoid making mistakes. Today, I'm discussing just 4 reasons why it is necessary to plan, and then from that, we will then go into the actual plan for our business. Number 1, in the first months of business, the risk is usually very high for very many reasons. Number 1, you are going into business probably for the first time. You have not done this before. So you are learning on the go. So you will make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And unfortunately, mistakes in business cost money. So it is very important that we sit down to think through and plan so that we minimize the amount of risk that could come in those first few months. Reason number 2 why it is important to plan is because your sales may fluctuate. When opening a business, we expect to make sales. Labda umetarajia every day you'll be selling 10,000 shillings, or you will be making sales of 5,000 shillings. But when you open doors, as we normally say, kwa ground mambo ni tofauti. So you may open your doors, but you do not make as much sales as you had expected, or even better, you go into business and you make more sales than you thought possible. If you are not prepared for that extra push, then your business runs into problems. Reason number 3 is that your costs may change. When sitting down to plan, we have expectations that we will spend a certain amount of money. Utalipa rent labda 5,000 shillings, bill ya maji 1,000 shillings, bill ya stima 500 shillings. But eventually when you open those, then you realize that those bills are higher than you had anticipated. So if you had taken time to sit and plan, then you are prepared for those changes in the bills. So it is very important that you sit down and plan so that you can anticipate some of the changes in costs and plan for them. And lastly, cash may run out. Very many businesses fail because they ran out of cash, not because the idea was bad, not because there were no customers in the market willing to pay for your good, but because you ran out of cash. You ran out of cash, so you could not pay rent. You ran out of cash, so you could not pay for purchases or stock in your shop if it's a retail shop. So then that means as much as you had a good idea, you had a market that was willing to support you, you do not have the cash to continue running the business. And so it is important for us to remember that a good idea does not always guarantee success in business. It can only work with proper planning. So as you continue telling us in the chat what your experience was, these are some of the reasons why it is very important for us to sit down, take time, and plan before going into business. So what is a business plan? We will not complicate it. We will not make it an academic discussion. We will simplify it and say a business plan talks about 3 things. It talks about how your business will operate. It talks about how you will spend money in your business. And it also talks about how you make money, more importantly. So for us, for purposes of our discussion today, if we are thinking of coming up with a business plan and we expect that at the end you will come up with a business plan for your idea, or after this discussion you will come up with a business plan, just look after 3 things, or look at coming up with 3 things. Number 1, how will I operate my business? If it is a kiosk, for example, who will be opening, who will be helping me clean, who will be picking stock for me and bringing to the business, and who will be operating the shop. Number 2, there are things that you will spend money on in your business. If it's a kiosk or a shop or a retail shop for that matter, or even a hotel, you will need to buy supplies. You will need to buy stock. You will need to buy you will need to pay for transport if you are picking goods and having them dropped or delivering to your clients. Those are things that will make you spend money in your business. And finally, people have to pay you for the service or goods that you are rendering, and so it's important for us to figure out those 3 things. So when you think about business plan, think about operating, how you will operate, think about how you will spend money, and think about how you will make money. Let us look at some of the comments that are coming in the chat based on the question that we asked, whether it's necessary to spend or not. As we come up with those, we can be looking in the meantime at what a good business plan should look like. A good business plan must have 4 things. But before we look at those 4 things, let us see. Maria Wanjiku, thank you. Maria is telling us, yes, it is very necessary. I am in the planning stage, but it feels like a lot of work. I am here to learn more. And thank you, Maria. I'm sure by the end of this discussion, you will have learned something that will help your planning stage simpler and easier. Charles Masengeli, thank you. Yes, planning is nice. Thank you that you agree with us that it's important to plan. We'll have a few more comments before we look at the 4 elements of a business plan. Emmanuel Mulika, thank you for joining us. and your comment is yes, planning is necessary. You have to do market research, etc. Thank you for that observation, Emmanuel. We also look at Nicholas. Nicholas says yes, one has to plan the way structures will be, whether it be stocks, suppliers, capital, and managing. And thank you, Nicholas, because that summarizes very beautifully what we'll be discussing today. Isaac will be our last comment for this part, and he says, yes, very necessary. So Isaac is answering and saying, yes, it is very necessary to plan. Let us now look at what a good business plan must show. As I had said, it must show 4 things very clearly. It must talk about what you are offering. So you have to think about what is it that you are asking the market to buy from you. Is it a product? Is it a service? And what exactly is the type of product? Number 2, your business plan has to also help you figure out how you will operate. How you will operate in this case means, for example, when we talk about a retail shop, there are many things to be done in a retail shop. Somebody has to serve customers as they walk in. Someone has to pick stock from wholesalers and bring to your shop. And if you are delivering to people's doorsteps, someone has to do that. So you have to, a good business plan has to help you figure out that. What am I required to do and who will do it? Am I the only person who will do it, or will I get help from someone else? Number 3, a good business plan should help you to figure out what it will cost to set up and run your business. So that tells us that you will need money before you start business. You will need money to set up, and you will need money for the day-to-day running. So in a good business plan, then that must come out very clearly. And finally, the last element of a good business plan is to tell you how much you need to sell in order to survive. In business, sometimes you can make sales that cannot sustain your business. You make too low sales and you're not able to meet your costs. Then that means your business does not survive. So at the planning stage, you ask yourself questions and find out how much must I sell at a minimum so that my business survives. So if you have all those 4 elements figured out, then you come up with a very good business plan or good plan for your idea. We have looked at what some of you have thought about whether planning is necessary, so I don't think we'll go back to the comments. We've seen a lot of you agreeing that it's important to plan, and it is also important because it helps you figure out a number of things. So we will continue and look at a next question. So again, for those who have been in business, tell us, have you started a business without a plan? Share with us your experience in the chat. I am sure someone will learn from the experience. If you started without a plan, how was the journey like, and what was the experience, and what would you do differently? That will help those of us who are joining in today to learn so that we do not make the same mistakes. Before we proceed, we will define a number of terms. In the course of our discussion, there are a number of terms that we will be using, and those are some of the definitions. Number 1 term, the first term is fixed costs, and I am not being political. We are talking about business. So fixed costs are those costs that you must pay no matter what. When you're in business, for example, a shop, if the building does not belong to you, someone will expect you to pay rent. Someone will expect you to pay for electricity, and you will also be expected to pay water bills if you have a water connection. And so that means whether customers come to your business or not, those bills must be paid. So those are what we will be calling fixed costs in the course of our discussion. The next word or term that I want us to understand for purposes of our common discussion is break-even. And break-even is just a big word to help us figure out how much must I sell so that I cover my costs. When you go into business, as we said earlier, kuna bills, kuna rent, kuna water, electricity, and a number of other things that you must pay for. So break even is that point at which your business is able to pay for all those bills. There is no profit, there is no loss, you have covered your bills. The number 3 is the term cash flow. And cash flow, for purposes of our discussion, means money coming in and money going out. In business, we expect that kuna pesa itakuwa inaingia. When you make a sale, you get money from your customer, and you will also be paying for some things. If you are selling items, you will be paying for the purchases. If you are giving a service, you will be paying maybe to go to the customer site and give the service. So cash flow, look at it as the movement of money, money coming in and money going out of your business. Finally, stress test. Stress test just helps us, is a term that means we ask questions about different possibilities so that we are prepared for them. And in a stress test, we are just checking to see how likely is my business to perform under different conditions. For example, if I opened my business on the assumption that I will be paying a monthly rent of 10,000 shillings, what if the landlord, after 2 months, the landlord decides the rent is 15? How will my business perform? If I opened my business and expect that I will be getting 10 customers per day, and I get 15 customers, how prepared am I for the 15? Or I get 4 customers, how then does the business look like? So keep in mind those 4 new words, and they will help us as we continue with the discussion. We are looking at a business plan, and we have simplified it to 6 elements. If you have these 6 elements, you have a business plan in place. Number 1, we are talking about an offer. And we'll look at the details, but just in summary, an offer is what are you giving to the market? What are you offering customers so that they can come to your business? Number 2, we are looking at the operating model. So your business plan has to have an operating model. And operating model, in this case, we just mean how will you do the day-to-day activities that need to be done. Like we saw in a shop or in any other form of business, there are things that you must do every day. So will you do them alone, or will you need someone to help you? Element number 3 for our business plan is the cost structure. Again, cost structure we'll discuss in details in a few. But generally, you have to figure out when you are starting or before you start, what are the costs that you expect in this business. And we'll be looking at the different types of costs and at what point they arise. Element number 4 of our business plan is what we are calling revenue and break-even. Revenue is just money. And break-even, we have talked about it, so we'll be, again, looking at it in terms of when it's in the business plan, what does it do and how does it look. Then a stress test. So your business plan should also have a section we are calling a stress test. And finally, your business plan should think about or talk about the first 90 days. If you are able to sit and figure out those 6 items, then you have a business plan. So for those taking notes, make sure that you have written those 6 elements, because we will be expanding on them as we continue with our discussion. So let's look at an offer. We have said an offer is what you are giving to the market or what you expect customers to pay for. Your offer statement, so we expect that your business plan will have a statement that talks about the offer. And the offer statement answers 4 questions. Question number 1, you have to talk about who do you target. It is not practical to open a business na kila mtu ni mteja wako. You have to find out of the many people that could possibly come to my business, who is the most important person I want to come to my business. That is your target customer. Number 2, your offer statement has to talk about the product or service that you are offering or selling. It is very important to get it very clearly. What product or service are you offering? Then you'll also have to talk about the price. At the point of writing your offer statement, think about the price. If, for example, you are going into a car wash business, what will you be charging your customers? And why would customers choose you finally? So if you have thought about any of these statements, or if you are coming up with a business idea and building your business idea, tell us in the comments the answers to some of these questions. And I am sure even as we interact in the comment section, people will help you even polish the idea and learn from each other. Because I know it is not or just on this end that we have the expertise. Even in the chat, people learn and keep learning from one another. So we have talked about the offer statement, answering those 4 key elements. Then we move to the operating model. But before we get there, I want us to look at a dream I have. My dream is to open a car wash at some point. And I have figured out and I have written that offer statement. So look at the offer statement and tell me, does it answer the questions on your screen? Does it talk about what I am selling? Does it talk about who my target customer is? And does it talk about the location that I'm operating from? Na pia kuna mahali imeongea mambo ya bei. And finally, does it talk about why customers should choose to come to my car wash? Talk to me in the chat and tell me the answers to those 4 questions. And mark, I'm giving you power, you can mark that and tell me, kwa wale wanajua mambo ya CBC, tell me whether I'm exceeding expectations or I am meeting ama niko wapi. But that is a sample of an offer statement, so you can think about an offer statement for your business and also mark it against that. Thank you, Nax Auto Spare Shop. I can see you have given us feedback. Caroline has also given us feedback, Caroline Makanga, and you are saying, thank you, sir, for the forum. I made mistakes starting my own business, and I really went through challenges not planning. Thank you, Caroline, for sharing with us openly. And I believe out of this you will be able to learn something, and others will also learn from you that not planning makes you suffer as a new business person. So we can continue and look at, we'll look at a few more comments. Charles Masengeli says, yes, I have, but due to lack of planning and consistency, the business failed. So I prefer we plan before so that we don't lose track on the way. Thank you, Charles, for sharing that and validating or telling us the importance of planning. And I agree with you, it is important to plan in advance. So we continue with the discussion. The last comment I'll talk about is Daniel. Daniel says, I recently started a business, but I really planned well for it, and I'm glad that it is thriving. Thank you, Daniel. Please share with the rest in the comments. Tell us in the comments, in the chat, what are some of the things that you planned for that helped you to thrive, because we would also want to learn from your experience. Nax Auto Spare Shop. I started my first business without any plan, but it ended up running into bankruptcy. Pole sana, I hope you have recovered. So we will continue with our discussion, and we look at the operating model. So we have looked about the offer statement. Now we talk about the operating model, and the operating model is good, is helping us to figure out who does what in the day-to-day running of the business. Again, it answers a number of questions. So if you are taking notes, You can take those 5 questions. They will help you come up with an offer, an operating model for your business. First question is, where will your business operate from? So at the planning stage, it is important to figure out ni wapi biashara yangu itakuwa. And it is not just a question of choosing a location. It is a question of thinking about the kind of business, the kind of customers you are looking at, then you decide on the location. Because if you decide a location where the customers you are looking for are not present, then you run into problems. Question number 2, our operating model statement helps us answer, is what are operating hours? If you visit any of the big businesses, they display the operating hours on their premises. What does that help them, or why is it necessary? It is important for people to know when they will find you in your shop or in your business. That helps them plan and know that I need to buy this at this point, and if I go at this time, I will find the operator. The other element your business model statement should talk about is who does what. And who does what, we have said there are a number of activities that you do in your business, and it is important at the planning stage to think about that set of activities and decide, will I be able to do them alone or do I need help? Element number 5 of the operating model statement is, how will customers pay you? It's important to figure out how customers will pay you, because customers will come with expectations, with different expectations. There's someone who will come with cash, that is very easy to deal with. Someone will come and tell you, I have my money on my mobile phone, my mobile wallet. Again, then you have to figure out, do I need to get a till number? Do I need to, what do I need to do? Do I ask them to be sending to my personal line? Somebody will come with a card and ask whether you accept cards. So you have to figure out at that point whether you would want, how many options will you be giving the market to pay you? And finally, how do we make money? How do we make money is just helping us to figure out how do we balance our costs and our income so that the business makes money. That is a sample of an operating model statement. So again, you can choose to write a paragraph, but I chose to do it in a pictorial format. So my dream is to open a car wash somewhere in Zimmerman, and that is my operating model statement. So look at it and tell me, can you see the operating hours somewhere? Can you see the price? Can you see how people will be paying me? How we'll be accepting payments? Can you see somewhere the equipment we need? Can you see somewhere how we will be sharing revenue? For this business, I have decided I will not be working alone. There are some things I will do, but I will get someone to help me with others. So I will keep 200 shillings out of every car that is washed, and the person washing will take 100 shillings. And why should customers choose to come to my car wash? I'm promising them that I will give them a very clean service, a very clean car. The service will be very fast. It will be affordable, and we will be doing it daily from 8 to 8 p.m. So again, if you are building your business idea, I challenge you, come up with an operating model statement. For those who can do a paragraph, write the paragraph. For those who can use the tools available, do something that will be appealing to people. Then cost structure. Under cost structure, there are 2 things that we have to think about. Number 1 is what we are calling the one-time startup costs. When going into business, kuna pesa tutahitaji before we even open our doors. So the one-time startup costs help us to purchase the things that we need to get into business. For example, in my car wash business, I will need to have a place. So I will need to have the machine, the pressure washing machine. I will need to have detergents. I will need to have a number of items that I should have in advance before I open doors and invite customers in. So again, for your business, when you're thinking about cost structure, think of it in two key areas. Think of it in terms of the one-time startup cost, and number two, what we are calling the fixed costs. Fixed costs in this case are those bills that you must pay. You must pay certain bills whether customers come or not. If you have opened a shop, kama ni nyumba ya wenyewe, they will expect you to pay rent at the end of the month. If you are using electricity, there will be a bill presented at the end of the month. Kama kuna connection ya maji, there will be a bill presented at the end of the month. So when you are thinking about your business idea, be very clear about those two categories of cost. Think one-time startup costs, how much do I need before I can go into business? And two, how much will I need every month to keep opening my doors? So that is about the cost structure part of our business plan. And it is very important to be as detailed as possible in this section, because if you get it wrong here, you will have problems later when doing business. Then I've given an example just to help us figure out some of the costs that we will need to come up with. In my car wash business, I will need 115,000 shillings to purchase those items that we have listed there. For those who have been in car wash business, please tell me kama there are things I've left out. So I have the fixed cost and I have the startup cost. So in my estimation, I will need 115,000 as startup costs, and I need about 33,000 every month to cover those costs. So please tell me, wale wanafanya busy ya car wash, will that be enough ama kuna kitu muhimu nimeacha? Revenue generation, that section of your business plan helps you figure out how much money is likely to come in. In my car wash business, I have two scenarios. The first one is if I get 10 customers coming to my business daily. Remember we said I'm charging 300 shillings and I'm paying out 100 shillings to the person washing. So that means I retain 200 in my business. So if I receive 10 cars every day, then that means my income is 2,000 shillings. Assuming maybe I work for 25 days in a month, so that makes it 50,000. My fixed costs are 33,000. Now, for those who like doing math calculations and mathematics, please tell me what is the profit when I have 10 cars per day, and also what is the profit on the other side if I have 5 cars per day. So I believe out of this example, you can clearly see it is very important to try and look at how your business will generate revenue before you get in and realize you are not prepared. So I have, then we now look at the break-even point. And remember when we were defining terms, we said break-even point, you have not made a profit, but you are also not losing money. You are covering your costs. Now in my car wash business, I estimate that I will need 33,000 every month to pay for rent, water, electricity, and whatever supplies I need for the washing. So at break-even, or when calculating break-even, you're asking, or I am asking myself, how many cars do I need to wash so that I raise 33,000 shillings in the month? And I have simplified it for you on the screen. You can see I need to do 165 washes in a month for me to be able to cover the 33,000 shillings that I need. So at break-even, there is no money remaining. There is also no money I am losing. So when you are thinking about your idea, it is also very important to try and figure out how much money must you make so that you break even. Then We'll also look at stress testing. Stress testing, like we said when defining terms, refers to asking what if questions. So what if this happens? What if the other happens? How does my business behave? In my car wash business, I have asked myself, what if I clean 4 cars every day? In the last example we saw, if I clean 10 cars, then I make money. If I clean 5 or less, I am losing money as a businessman. In my car wash business, I need to do about at least 6 cars per day or 150 washes in a month for me to break even. Now, when stress testing, you're asking yourself, what if I receive 15 cars per day? I am prepared for 6. What happens if I receive 15? That might sound like a very good problem, but if you do not manage it well, you can actually lose customers, because if they come and they are frustrated with the speed of service, then you will lose them. Then the other scenario is, what if you had expected to pay rent of a certain amount and things change? The landlord doubles the rent. What do you do? How does your business behave? So when you're stress testing your business idea, you're trying to think of as many possible scenarios as possible and asking, how would my business continue if this was to happen? So for those who are building up their business idea, you can also share with us and tell us what are some of the stress testing scenarios that you see that will help you strengthen your business idea and also strengthen your purpose. Stress testing is critical because it helps you avoid making decisions in panic, because if you had not thought of a possibility, then you panic when it happens. But if you had foreseen, then you do not panic. If you know that you need to wash 10 vehicles per day and you wash 5, then you know at the end of the month you will not have enough money to cover your bills, so you prepare for that. Let us see some of the comments that some of you have made as we continue with our discussion. And to the question, if anyone has started a business without a plan, Emmanuel Cheruyot says, without understanding the market, it's really difficult to run business. And I totally agree with you, Emmanuel. If you do not understand the market, then kuna shida mahali. We can also look at another comment, Caroline Makanga, I started my business without a plan. We talked about that, and thank you, Caroline, for joining us. I agree with you. It is really necessary and important to plan. We can look at one more comment, then we proceed with looking at the next element of our business plan. Magdalene Oyundi, thank you for joining us. She says, yes, I started a business without a plan. I had an idea, and the next thing I had set up a business in like a week. No feasibility study. I didn't know my target group, got everything wrong from start, and had to close down after 9 months. Next time I start a business, I will be better prepared. Thank you, Magdalene. We hope you will bounce back and you will be a better business person. Let us look at the next element of our business plan, which is the first 90 days. But before we do that, I can see Benson. Benson is helping me. For the car wash business, the fixed cost would be employees. Thank you, Benson. Thank you for that. I believe you have experience in that, and I am willing to learn from you. So let us look at the last element of our business plan, which is the first 90 days. When you open your business, in the introductory discussion, we said the first few months or few days in business are usually very risky. And so at the point of planning your business, after you have figured out the other 5 elements, it is important to try and picture what would the first 90 days look like. And the first 90 days, we are asking, do not put yourself under too much pressure. Do not make too many demands on yourself. Take it easy. In the first month, just track record and track your business activity. Track how much money is coming in, track how many customers are coming in, track what the customer patterns are, what time of day do they come in, what day of week do they come in, which weeks of the month are more busy than others. So you're just trying to understand the business and understand the business environment. So just track, take statistics, and understand the trends. During the second month, now you can review and start. In the first month, you're just collecting data. In the second month, now you can take time to review and try to interpret. If you are using the example of the car wash, in the first month we are receiving everybody who comes in, cleaning their vehicles and serving them well. In the second month, then now you can sit down and look at who are my major customers, which are the vehicles that come mostly. Is it small cars? Are they taxi owners? Are they lorries? Are they matatus? Then now, once you have figured out who is your main customer, then you position yourself to best serve them. During the third month, that is the time now you have understood your data, you have understood who your customers are and the patterns. Now you just continue operating based on that information. Now you make sure everything works well. If you are serving matatu customers, you understand what they look for. If you understand what times they come for their vehicles to be cleaned, so you make sure you are ready for them at that point. So that way you are just helping to stabilize the business for growth and for other things. So in the first 90 days, no pressure, focus on stability. Growth will come. So we have done the 6 elements of a business plan. And I believe if you have been writing notes, you probably are now starting to think about some of these elements for your business. You have thought about your offer. You have thought about the other things. So let us quickly look at some of the comments. We have looked at some of the comments that you have made in the chat for those who started business without a plan. And you have shared some of your experiences. So I think let's continue reading the chat and learning from the experience others have had in the past. In summary, this is what your business plan should look like. Number 1, we have a very clear offer. So in the offer, again, just to remind, we said your offer is what you are giving to the market. What are you giving to customers in exchange for their money? Number 2, it should have an operating model. And here you are saying, what activities will I need to do in my business and who will be doing those activities? Will I do it alone? Do I need other people to support me? Cost structure, we saw you have to think about the amount of money you need to start up and also the amount of money you will need to keep running the business. Revenue and break-even. Break-even, I think we have just discussed that and it should be very clear in our minds. There we are asking how much money are we likely to make and at what point will we cover our bills. Then stress testing is helping us to look at different scenarios. So in your business idea, look at the different possibilities. If it's a retail shop, what are the possibilities and how do you prepare for them? Then finally, your business plan should have a plan for the first 90 days. So don't worry how long your plan will look like. Even if it's just 1 page and it is covering all these elements, that is a very good starting point. It helps you think through, it helps you figure out a lot of the things that you should expect. And it also helps you avoid surprises that would then complicate your business. So what do I want you to do out of this discussion? Kuna homework. So kama kuna wale walikuwa wapendi homework, kuna homework. The first homework is, the actual homework is to do a 6-part business plan. Remember the parts we have talked about. Think about your idea and try to write a sentence or 2 sentences about each of those parts. Think about break-even. Try and calculate. For my idea, how much money will I be spending in bills? Now, how much money do I need to make? And at what point, what must I sell for us to, for me to break even? Think about a stress test. For your idea, whichever idea it is, whether it's a car wash like me or you are thinking about something else, run one stress test and find out how would my business look like if this scenario happened. And finally, define your first 90 days. So basically, out of this discussion, I'm asking you, sit down and write a business plan. It doesn't have to be too many pages. It doesn't have to be hata si lazima iwe kizungu. Write in whatever language you understand best, but come up with a business plan and see how it helps. And later on, when you have succeeded in business, please come back and tell us what contribution this discussion had on your journey as a business person. Remember, planning protects your effort and money. So if you sit to plan, you are protecting your effort, you are protecting the energy and ideas and whatever it is you will be putting into the business, and it is also helping you to protect your money. Now we will take a few questions just to see what is it that you would want clarified so that we can come back to that and help you answer. Thank you, Karim Kibet. You have joined us on Zoom and you're asking, my current situation is that I identified a business opportunity, decided to enroll for an educational course in the course of learning. I decided to create a social media page. Currently, it is an educational page. Is it a great move? Thank you, Karim. Getting started is always a great move. So congratulations for thinking about something and getting going. The lessons, we keep learning the lessons as we do. So keep doing. I don't know what the business proposition is for your social media page, but I believe that you are learning something out of posting content, engaging people, and so keep going, and at some point you will be clearer. Shadrach, thank you. You're asking, at what point does planning become overthinking? Thank you. That's a very nice question. There's a saying that there are some people who are said to be paralyzed by analysis. So you keep thinking, but never starting. So in business or in whatever it is you want to do, it is important to start at some point. So if you are planning and you have been planning for the last 5 years, but you have not made the first move, then probably you need to stop planning and start doing something, because some lessons come along the way. You will never figure them out by writing on a piece of paper or on an Excel. Vayana Wandere, thank you for joining us. If my business is online, how can I apply the operating model while working from home? Thank you. In the operating model, we were talking about the activities you need to do in your business and figuring out whether you can do them alone or you need someone to help you. So even if you're operating from home, it is still necessary to think about the activities that your business is doing. You have not told us which business you are getting into, but I would believe there are activities that must be done for you to be in business. So the model statement will still apply to you, because you have to figure out will I manage to do them alone or do I need support? Moisa Were, thank you for joining us. And you're asking, I started a chicken rearing business without a clear plan, and now I'm struggling financially. Should I stabilize this business or leave it and start afresh? Thank you, Were. The decision to leave or to continue, hatutakuambia hiyo. But what I know is you have learned lessons during the journey. You have, first of all, it's great that you started something, and it's also great that you have learned a lesson out of the journey that you have taken. Everybody who is in business will tell you they made mistakes along the way. So learn from your mistakes and keep going. Daniel Munene is asking, what if my idea already exists in the market, but I am passionate about it. How can I differentiate myself? Daniel, that is a very good question. Everybody who operates a business in the market gets customers. And even you and I, when going to buy something, there's a reason why we choose one shop over the other. You can walk past 5 shops just to go to a certain shop because of something that you like about that shop. So it's important for you to look at the other people who are doing what you intend to do. Look at how they have positioned themselves. Look at how they do business. There's always something you can improve. So learn from them, talk to them, find out what they do, how they do it, and then based on your idea, you can see what to improve, and you will still get customers from your business. Happy Rainbow on YouTube, thank you for joining us. And your question is, how detailed should planning be before starting, especially for young entrepreneurs with small capital? Thank you. I said even if it is 1 page, it is enough to have you started in business. You do not, depending on your idea, you might need a lot of detail or not, depending on very many reasons. But at the basic level, you do not need too much in terms of write-up. You don't need 100 pages. You don't need 5 pages. If all you can have is 1 page and it clarifies what you need to do, then you can proceed. But if you are looking at business, for example, that needs many more people to support you, then in that case, you might have to have a more elaborate business plan that could be several pages, especially if you're looking at raising finance, because people who are likely to give you money will ask questions. Yes, a second question still from Happy Rainbow. What are the early warning signs in planning that show your business idea may not survive in the market? Thank you. If we go back to the the recap of our discussion, we talked about the journey of coming from an idea to, and now we are looking at a plan. So when you're generating your idea, all you know is you want to do this. For example, I want to start a kiosk, and this is where I want to place my kiosk. So what are the signs that your business may not survive in the market? Number 1, at the point of testing, if you find that either customers are not willing to come to where you propose to locate your business, then that becomes a warning sign. It tells you, do you still proceed with that location or do you change? Also talk about price. Find out if you are starting a car wash, everybody in the place you are starting it charges 300 shillings and you are planning to charge 900 shillings. That tells you that either you must have something very special you are offering or your business will fail. So look at what others are doing in the location you are doing, try and compare yourself to them and see if you will be able to survive even with the competition. So from a very high level, some of the warning signs would be, number 1, people are not willing to pay the price you're asking. Number 2, people are not willing to come to the location you propose to put your business. And number 3, you do not have a clear offer. So you are going to the market asking people to give you money, but it is not clear what they benefit from paying you. Benson Maingi is asking, where does marketing strategy fall under the 6-point business plan? Thank you, Benson. We have done a very high-level outline in the course of our discussion, and one where ideally the operational details would fall is under the operating model. So marketing strategy, if in your business, you will have to figure out the whole set of activities that must be done for your business to succeed. So some of those activities include marketing. And so at the operating model level, that is where you will place the marketing strategy. Sally Atieno, thank you for joining us, and you're asking, what costs do most entrepreneurs forget to consider? Thank you, a very good question. This varies from scenario to scenario, depending on the kind of business one is going in. there are areas that would be invisible to you, so that you learn these lessons later. For example, I have seen people start a kibanda, and they had not thought that the county government would be coming to ask for money from them for the kibanda. So sometimes it's very easy to figure out if it's stock, if it is rent. The big bills are very easy to figure out, but there are smaller bills that are relevant to different types of businesses that sometimes are invisible until you have gotten in, then you learn. For example, marketing. Many of us assume that you will open and people come in, but you need to deliberately think about, how do I let people know about my business and what I am offering? Walker on YouTube is asking, should my financial projections be 100% accurate, especially for a small business? I can't seem to get it right. Walker, thank you for, at least from your question, I can tell you are already doing something around planning for your business. You have started working on the financials, and so that is a very good thing. If you feel that your numbers are not accurate, you can always talk to someone to help you with those numbers. But generally, when you sit on a desk and come up with numbers, you make very many assumptions. It is hardly possible that all those assumptions will come out true when you actually start operating your business. Something will always be different from what you had thought, and so that means that the numbers are only accurate at the point of planning. But when you go into the business, then you realize some of the assumptions may not work, and so the numbers are no longer valid. But the effort you took to write the numbers helps you prepare and prepare for different scenarios. Kamene is asking, what if I don't break even in the first few months? Is there an acceptable period of time where it's okay to make losses at the beginning? Again, thank you. I know nobody goes into business planning to make losses, but the reality is that kwa ground, mambo ni tofauti. And so, depending on the business, some businesses take long to break even and even make a profit. For some businesses, you can make a profit as early as the first month of operation. So I would only be able to give a reasonable response to your question if I have an idea of the kind of business that you are looking at. But generally, it is expected that when you get into business, the first few months, you will hardly make a profit. So be prepared that maybe for the first few months, you will not make a profit. For those who are doing big businesses, even the first few years, you do not make a profit. But for a small business, at the back of your mind, just know the first 3 months, the first 6 months, you might not make a profit, and so have a buffer to help you in those 3 to 6 months. Isaac is asking, excited to be here, looking forward to the discussion, Kenya. Asante sana. I believe this was as we were beginning, so karibu sana. I hope you have gained something beneficial. Charles Masengeli, I'm getting started with my business. It's an online business dealing with credit selling. My question is, how will I better reach my customers through marketing, and how much will it cost? Charles, I have to make an assumption here. I will assume that when you talk of credit, you are talking about selling the airtime, phone airtime. And so I don't know how that is you intend to do it online, whether you will be reaching out to people and disbursing or sending the tokens without physical contact. But generally, this looks like a business that, because you're operating online, so it means the channels available to you are the digital platforms. So that means you have to have a very strong digital presence. So you have to be on social media, be on TikTok, be on Facebook if you are targeting the generation that is on Facebook, be on X, and the many other social medias available. So you have to make a very strong presence so that people can know you exist and know what you offer and how they can buy from you. Make it very easy for people to reach you and buy from you. Nadia, joining us on Zoom, is asking, okay, we can look at Anne Wanjiru asking, how can one get a cooperative till number? Thank you, Anne. There are very many ways you can get that. You can always reach us on our WhatsApp lines. You can reach us on our social media. The bank is on Facebook, it is on LinkedIn, it is on X, and many other social media platforms. So you can chat with us on those ones. Or alternatively, if you are close to our branch, you can walk in and you will be assisted on that. But for as long as you are a customer, you can access a till. If you have the Year app on your phone, you can download it. If you do not have it, you can download, and it will help you even on the journey. So if you have that app, then you don't have to walk anywhere. You can get the service right on your phone. Thank you. Let's see if there is any other question as we come to the end of our discussion today. Nadia asking, what if competitors lower their prices? Yes, that is a very high possibility. In business, you will always have competitors, and everybody wants to gain a bigger share of the market. So some of the tactics they could be using is to lower their prices so that you get to a point where you can't compete and you are thrown out of business. So if competitors lower their prices, it is important for you to try and understand what is the thinking behind that lowering. Are they lowering because they operate at a lower cost so that they are passing the cost benefit to their customers? Or are they lowering because they are fighting for a bigger share of the market and at some point watapandisha hiyo bei? So if it's a temporary move, then you do not need to panic, because at some point bado watapandisha and they will come back to where you are. But if they are lowering because their costs are lower, then you might need to relook at your costs and see if there is something you can save and also lower your costs. So I believe we have discussed a lot in the course of this chat. This will be available, the video will be available to you. You can continue watching and commenting and giving us feedback on the various channels that this will be on. But for now, we appreciate taking your time to log in, and that is all we'll have for today. Asanteni sana.
We are thrilled about your active participation and engagement. Next week, we will be taking a short break from the business series to explore a timely discussion on building healthy spending habits. Join the conversation and send us an email at webinar@coopbank.co.ke and we'll give you the plug. We will keep you informed about upcoming webinars through your email. Let's go, let's grow.